Good evening. Good morning. Depends where you are. My name is Tony Alago. This is Freedom TV. I want to salute every courageous warrior out there. I want to salute every ODUDUWA. And I want to say a very big congratulations to ODUDUWA brethrem for the news of the release of Sunday Igboho. It's a beautiful evening, and we must have to celebrate it with them. This is another proof that fight for freedom is not a fight for war. This is another proof that self-determination is a fundamental human right. And I want to say to my Biafran brothers, my ODUDUWA brothers, that this is the precious time for us to unite. This is also a challenge to my Biafran people, because since Chief Sunday Igboho has been arrested illegally in Benin Republic, the people of ODUDUWA has remained resolute. And that's why I said it's a challenge to Biafran people and to every comrade out there. And also for us to understand that divine mandate to redeem the whole contracted entities in that zoological republic of Nigeria must come to fruition. So I encourage all of us to remain resolute. As part of gossip. To talk about things. Please, I don't want my ODUDUWA brethren to get me wrong. That I commend your effort and your resoluteness, and I be from people to do the same. Because this is the right time. And I call on Yoruba as well. Anywhere you are, you can join our protest around the world. There is no longer time. This is no longer time that we every day wake up one morning to come on social media and discuss how are we going to vote. I heard somebody saying the other time that the reason why politicians find room to rig our votes is because when we go to register and we don't vote, that is the cause. That is from there that we give them the room to manipulate our votes. And I have this to say to the person. I said to the person, if you tell me we registered for voting and we didn't vote, may I use Imo State as an example? May I use that as an example? Where the actual number of votes credited to the fourth position came up to be more than the registered votes. So the question remains, are we going to continue deceiving our people? That's why I call on every sensible human being, every reasonable person, despite your religious belief, despite your cultural belief, despite whatever you subscribe to, as long as you're living in Nigeria, I believe this is the right time for all of you to wake up and join hands together, liberate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and we all unite in one force to redeem our future. This is no longer time to come on social media or to come on your place of work and say it doesn't concern me. Despite the fact that today we are saying we are celebrating the freedom of Sunday Igboho, but if we can ask ourselves a question, what was Sunday Igboho's crime? He has committed absolutely no crime. What was his crime? The same police, military personnel that went to his house to assassinate him and ended up killing over 10 people were the same people who called for his abduction. Do you understand that this is time for us to stop deceiving our people? That's why anytime someone starts to tell me about voters card, I say go to hell with your voters card because our votes doesn't count. How can someone deceives you to go and get a voter's card when you know your vote are being decided or in the card? I call every conscientious ODUDUWA, every Yoruba freedom fighter, every Biafran freedom fighter to unite in one force. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has committed no crime. The all crime that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has committed was because he wants 24 hours electricity. He wants good road. He don't want ASU to go to strike. He don't want you to be the fourth largest oil reserve in the world, but you're suffering from shortage of fuel. That is the crime that he's committed. What is the crime of the same Chief Sunday Igboho we are talking about today? He said that he don't want Fulani herdsmen to come into his home, slaughter his mother, arrest his children, abduct his sisters, and rape them, and even murder them. So anyone that will come up very short time, they will start propagating their lies. I want ODUDUWA brothers to understand that very soon they will come with a lot of lies. Someone says, do you think, why do you say Tinubu cannot be president? I said, the problem is that we are not supposed to be talking about president of Nigeria at this point in time. We are supposed to be talking of general referendum. Or we go for revolution. Because we cannot continue suffering. We cannot continue moving around the world. The world continues to reject us. We are like forcing ourselves to the people. Tell yourselves the truth. It doesn't matter where you're living. Even those who live in the United Kingdom, those who live in America, those who live in Canada, those who live in Asia, any part of the world where you're living, despite how rich you are suffering. If you don't suffer from discrimination, you will suffer from direct racism. If you don't suffer from racism, you suffer from one thing or the other. You can suffer from exclusion as well, simply because you don't do what is right. And what is right is that we rise up now. I expect our people, both the ODUDUWAs, both the middle belts, to understand that this is no longer time to panic. This is time to prepare and be determined. It's not just prepare or come on social media to talk about freedom. No, we have to all join hands together. This is no longer time for person to come and say, okay, let's give a trial to 2023. What trial are you giving that we haven't given before? They tell us different stories, different, they modify it in a way that will suit them. Do you understand that this is why we all need to? We all have to understand that this is the right time. And I commend every Biafran comrade on social media, those who are social media warriors, understand one thing. No longer time for gossip, because this is a challenge to all of us. This is a huge challenge for all of us. A love challenge, which I love. And this is to let us understand that the ODUDUWA brethren, their brother was abducted. We didn't hear anything from them. They worked and worked resolutely, thanks to Paya Adebanjo and Prof. Akintoye. Though we understand that in Biafra land we have cowards as political leaders, but that doesn't mean we are going to get ourselves distracted. I commend all the ODUDUWA comrades for the great work they did, and I assure every Biafran woman to understand that we are not leaving you behind. Mazi is coming out very soon. You will hear sound of victory very soon, because this is a divine mandate. And every person who understands the mission of God with Nigeria, you know, sometimes when your pastors, or let me say religious leaders, or a man can say to you that we see a better Nigeria 2030. Some of you will be like, it could be good president, but prophecy is different from understanding it. Because there is no way good life will come if we don't destroy what is destroying our good lives. And that is Nigeria. And anybody telling you to go get your PVC is deceiving you. Because your PVC doesn't count. They don't even care about you. If you vote them out, they are going to court to decide who is going to rule over you. It doesn't matter who it is that brought the idea. If it is your role model, he's not talking about either referendum for the whole population of Nigeria, or he's talking about a complete revolution that we are going to decide our fates. Why should Sunday Igboho even be in prison for at all? For what purpose? What is his crime? Absolutely none. Why should Mazi Nnamdi Kanu be in prison? What is crime? Absolutely none. The federal government of Nigeria, if at all there is, because I have the right to say there is none. Sometimes when we talk, we have the right to say, because when a government has failed to fulfill his fundamental obligation, that government becomes a failed government. And you have the right to say there is nobody in the seat of power. That is the constitutional right. That is true. So if we say that there is nothing as federal government of Nigeria, we are right. If at all there is, why should some people in the northern part pay tax to Boko Haram terrorists? If at all there is, why should government officials pay ransom to kidnappers for school children kidnapped? If at all there is, why should Fulani herdsmen invade people's compound, rape people's farm, raise them down? Do you understand that this is time that we need to unite together? They divided us before through religion, through cultural betrayals and all those things. But this is time that the present generation has to take our destiny in our own hands. We have to read the mistakes of our fathers and then correct it. Then we can actualize a future for our next generation. If not, we are doomed as a people. If not, I can assure all of you that our next generation can never have a place to live because they will be dominated. People who they are supposed to be feeding will now conquer them. Because you and I, if you're a Yoruba man, if you're a Benin man, if you're an Igbo man, you know that the problem we are having are the Northerners in the country. You know the problem we are having is not an Igbo man, because Igbo man lives with Yoruba, lives with every man, every different other nationalities. But the problem are the Northerners. And these are people that produce the lowest revenue in the country. They bring the lowest and they feed more. Just go for yourself. Ask yourself, for example, you go to the north. They destroy alcohol, but they take tax from us and they feed themselves. And you think a country that is built on such lies and deceit can ever have a future? And to you that if Tinubu become, how can somebody even imagine if someone is a human being and you call Tinubu and you say, vote for him? Because ethnicism got the best of us. This is no longer time for ethnicity. This is time that we must have to unite in one voice and then get what we want. Even if you're living in America, because some of you will say, it doesn't concern me, I don't want to know. You're living in UK because you have a good job, maybe you earn 4,000 every month. But tell yourself the truth, even where you are working, you are being discriminated against. The reason is because you failed to go to your country, and you cannot go to your country. Can you imagine that a country that produced the highest of crude is shorting fuel? Is it not an abomination? Can you imagine? It's abomination before God. And all these things are the reason why sometimes we have issue with the religious leaders. This is time, and this is a challenge to every biafran. And congrats to the ODUDUWA brethrem as well, once more. And this is time for the main duty at hand. This is time for the last phase of the liberation of the people, contracted in that very contraption. This is the time that we have to march in one voice and in full force. This is time I recommend everybody to go to the social media, go to the Wikipedia, browse the 17th century French Revolution. Make a research of this, read it properly, and watch how it all happened. These are steps that we have to take. Unity amongst all of us, every freedom fighter, and ignore anybody that is telling you to get your PVC, that is your right. Let us imply civil disobedience. Let's not vote every person. The only vote we should be talking about is a referendum for the people. Because the people that try to redeem us, you are putting them more in prison. Those that try to say what you're doing to us is not good, you put them in prison. And how do we even imagine? This is 21st century. Sometimes when the Westerners racist on us, I don't even feel bad. Because black man hates his fellow black man. We don't even want the good for ourselves. And this is time, if we must have to get what we are looking for, unity must be the key right now. To come and say this, and that's all I have to say. And on this note, once again, congratulations to ODUDUWA brethren, and welcome back to Sunday Igboho. And be well assured that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released just very soon, because he has committed no crime. He has absolutely committed no crime. And Nigeria High Court sitting in Abuja has no judicial ground to hold him, because they committed a capital offense. What do we consider in law capital offense, which is abduction? It's a capital offense. So they have no judicial ground to try him. They will release him soon, and then the real battle begins. And that battle is to restore the kingdom of God. ODUDUWA nation will stand, and Biafra will stand, because that is a divine mandate, because that is the word of God. It doesn't matter how they might say or what they might do. These two kingdoms and every other kingdom that has been contracted in that contraption, like I always tell you, because I don't call Nigeria a zoo. I always believe that calling Nigeria a zoo is a disgrace and insult to animal kingdom. Because when you go to the zoo, they respect themselves. Everyone stays in their own side. No one crosses the other. But you have a country where they cannot even fix ordinary electricity, where they have the highest of crude, but no refineries working. So how do you want us to start restructuring that country? Somebody will say to you, the next campaign, some of them will start using is the person that campaign. Ask them a question. If we don't ask this question, then we have problem. If we don't ask ourselves or tell ourselves the truth, we are not going anywhere. And on that note, I call on you all to remain resolute and our mothers to remain calm, because in April they must release him because he has committed no crime. If Justice Bintania refused to give unconstitutional verdict against our leader, she knows that we are not going to take. We are not going to take that, and we cannot try to take that. And that's why I say unity will win this battle, because they divided us in the past. They make Yoruba man to believe that Igbo man is his problem, and they make Igbo man to believe the same to Yoruba. And on there, they conquered us. But this time around, we are not talking more about this. We're talking about our generation. If we don't do the right thing now, if we don't unite ourselves, because in revolution, we don't bring ethnicity. Nothing like ethnic nationality, nothing like I'm Igbo, I'm Bini, I'm Yoruba. No. All we are focusing is on those that are reaping our resources and we are suffering. All we will be putting through are those that will give us unconditional ways of living. those that will harm our freedom, those that wouldn't like us to even to express our dissatisfaction with their ways of ruling. We don't have to bring anything. I am Igbo, I am Yoruba. It doesn't matter. What matters is freedom. And on that note, I call on everybody to understand that this is the task that must be done. Don't let them use your political leaders to deceive you. They will present to you someone you might view as maybe he will make a change. Let me tell you, all of them are digging in one hole. All of them are putting in one pocket. Make change amongst all of them. They're all one. They are all wicked. They so none of them will make difference. The only people that can make your life is in a mess. If you are an Igbo man, you are in a mess. If you are Benin, it doesn't matter which is your ethnic nationality. It doesn't matter. We have to rise together. If anybody tell you, let us vote for 2023 presidency, tell them to organize referendum the same 2023. Forget about presidency. Organize referendum for us. After all, in 1914, amalgamation deal was signed. And the agreement was after 100 years. Let us renegotiate. And 2014, it was 100 years. Why don't we use the 2023 to organize referendum? Let us decide where we want to be. And if we want this, they can never give us this on a platter of gold. Those that oppress us loves and enjoys oppressing and killing us. Those that want to bring out their brothers and their sisters to settle in our land and abduct our mother and rape our sisters, don't want us to do anything. They don't want us to get a referendum. They will never give us to us. Not at all. Because oppressors find joy in oppressing. The only way you can conquer an oppressor is with force. And on that note, I still call on all of us to unite in one voice. And together, we can do it. And let you also, the ODUDUWA brethren, understand that celebrate but not celebrate too much, because the battle is still ahead. The enemy, they do not sleep. Do not think the battle is over, because the battle is just started. This is time that you get yourselves equipped. Do not celebrate so much, because we are not free yet. There must be more justification. We must remain much more resolute even now. It is not time to pop champagne or drink Hennessy or Moet or start enjoying life and think everything is okay. But we must have to be happy and know that we are moving in the right direction, which the direction is the liberation of the people. Because the suffering, the disgrace, the abuse, the discrimination is so much. For many years, we have gone through this. And on that note, maybe from people, IPOB family understand that this is time to focus on the task. Your duty, the reason why you're on social media, is to broadcast and tell our people the secret plans of the enemy. This is from gossip. Move to the task ahead. Let our legal team do their duty. Do your duty as a comrade. If you're a leader, lead it with discipline and example. Do not lead with tyranny. And on that same note, I call everybody living in that very contraption called Nigeria to never consider 2023 as a year for election, but a year for the liberation of the people who has suffered for many years of colonization and then continue suffering from neo-colonization, highly manipulated by the agents of the neo-colonists, mainly in the religious affairs, mainly those that champion the religious cause. I know some don't like anytime we mention it, but they are the agents of neo-colonists. They are the people that they are using to manipulate the minds of our people. They make us to forever believe we are going to heaven, and we fail to build a place here. forgotten that. Just ask yourself a question. When you were coming to this world, did you know where you were going? The answer is no. In Igbo land, if you're coming to the world and you know where you're going, we consider you as Obanji. So that is a reason for you to understand. I'm not telling you to go away from what you believe, but I want you to understand that we have to build a heaven here. We can build heaven here because there is no hellfire than you having been sick, and because you don't have money, you can't go to the hospital. There is no hellfire world that a woman is in labor, feeling pain in labor. She has to deliver with surgery. But because the husband has got no money, she has to die. Is there any hellfire worse than this? No hellfire, I don't think. If anybody can tell me there is, I don't believe. So that is why this very time, unity amongst the ODUDUWANs, amongst the Middle Belterners, we expect them to rise. Rise to the occasion. Fight those that are fighting you. Kill those that are killing you. Self-defense is a fundamental human right in every international constitution. How can somebody, when we say, they say it is cattle farmers clashes, but I ask them a question. How does farmer and herders clash? How? They said in their farm. So the question is, why should a herder go into the farm? Is it not a shame that in 21st century we're still discussing herders clash with farmers because other people do ranching? Why do we still take cattle along the road, causing havoc, causing destruction, causing rape, killing, murdering? And you call it clash. That is not clash, that is ethnic conquest. Because herders doesn't move with AK-47. And if you see you're a farmer, you are farming with hoe and with cutlass, right? And you see herders who is coming with this cattle to destroy your crops. That same herder has AK-47. How do you defend yourself? Can't you see the reason why we call for you to get yourself equipped and defend yourselves against the invaders killing you? That the Constitution of Nigeria permits that. And those are what Sunday Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu is fighting. And it's a shame that in the 21st century, some people still believe in that BVC. They have used that to deceive us. Do not let yourself be deceived. If you're a ODUDUWA, do not let any political person or celebrity, because most of you are moved by celebs. Davido came there. The other person came there for. These people are rich. They came there, they paid them. Even their buses or their cars they came along are chartered. They are paid. And they leave you suffering. This is a crime against humanity. And do you see that is one of the reasons why when we preach about religious leaders, whom those that are holding us are using to manipulate our mindsets, because some ODUDUWA brothers will still sit down and say, no, I am Muslim, because you are Muslim, and therefore they will be killing your Christian brother, your same blood, your same culture, your same vein, and you say, no, these are things that we need to eliminate in this very generation to enable our future have a place to be. If not, we are doomed as a people. If not, we are destroyed. If not, our generation to come can never have a place to be. They will be manipulated. They will be told where to stop and where to go. Unity. Biafra, ODUDUWA, Middle Belt should rise up. Because you are more conquered. They deceive you that you are the minority ethnic group, that if Nigeria happens to break up, you will now die. What about Luxembourg? Luxembourg is consisting of 650,000 people, less than 1 million. How rich are they? What makes you rich is not the majority, but on how you manage your how you manage your assets. If you plan it well, your country will be good. We have countries, Switzerland is even a little country, but they are very rich, very secure as well. This is time not for just celebration, though we must have to celebrate defeating the enemy firsthand. And Yoruba people must know that Sunday Igboho must not come back to Nigeria without adequate protection. They must understand this, that the time has just come for us to rebuild that very kingdom of God, for us to relate the people of God who are worshiping and believing in miracles. But unfortunately, most of them were being scammed by their religious leaders, who fails to tell them that the kingdom of God suffered violence, and violence took it by force. I never said that. The Bible said. We all read it. Most of we Christians read the Bible. If the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and violence took it by force, why are we suffering violence and we are sleeping? We are being slaughtered. We are being killed. We are being massacred. We are being murdered. And year after year, they tell us the same stories. They tell us, hold your voter's card, that is your right. When they want to start a new campaign very soon, some of them will still come to tell you why the other person is not qualified. Look at Igbo people, they're telling you Igbo presidency, and some of you are subscribing to that nonsense. What Igbo president? How many people came out as Igbo? The other day I was watching Dr. Chris Nwabezengige, who happens to be former labor minister. How many times has ASU gone to strike a labor minister? He's coming out for presidential campaign. Dave Omahi is coming. Okay, Zibazu is coming. So if all of you comes out, how can you even get that nonsensical dream of presidency you're asking of? I'm asking. Do you see how these people use our mindset? Do you see how these people destroy our ways of reasoning? And they use their religious leader, I repeat. Because those that believe in religion so much, believing in religion is different from believing in God. Don't mistake these two things. You will go to your church and pastor will say, maybe God revealed to me that man is the president or that man is the governor. And then you go to vote. Or some of you will now say, he is ODUDUWA brother. No, he come from my side. I will vote him. And on that note, as you're voting him, you're selling another 8 years of suffering. 8 years of suffering. Just because of that nonsensical mistake you make, you're giving another 8 good years of high suffering. Because the only thing they can do is bring into you 5 kg of rice during the election. And after the election, you are gone as a person. They will control you. They will determine how they want you to live. And they will tell you to shut up. Do you understand the place I'm going, if you're following me here? ODUDUWA people must celebrate the first victory, but must remember that the task ahead is still very strong. Therefore, it desires an adequate resoluteness, discipline. And I ask Biafran, the IPOB family member worldwide, to return your discipline back to you. Return the instruction mass he gave to us, all of us, starting from the most bottom of bottom to the highest of the top. Restore your discipline. Restore your resoluteness. Desist yourself from gossiping. Biafra is not a social media affair. Biafra requires more intelligence, because those that are fighting you fight you with intelligence and ammunition, and you've got less armed. Therefore, you need more intelligence to conquer them. It is time that we have to march together in protest. This is not just time that Yoruba will look and fold their hands and say Igbos are protesting, or Igbos will look and fold their hands together. Together we can redeem our people. And if anybody asks you to go and get your PVC, tell that person that says get your PVC that your voter is Yoruba. Ask him, who voted Hope Uzodinma in Imo State? Who voted him? He came out fourth in election. Who voted him? When your election is no longer determined in the electoral process, and then it is the meaning in the it means that you no longer practice democracy. You practice democracy on paper and not in reality. If anybody tells you get your PVC, that I see Shawole will be better, I'm not campaigning against Shawole. I don't have issue with him because he's trying to put effort as much as he believes he can. But I don't want you to believe when anybody tells you that your PVC is your right in 2023. I want you to start seeing anybody who tells you that your voter's card is your right in 2023 as your number one enemy. And I can tell you reason. The reason is because the other times you have voted in the past, none of them had counted. Even if it's your pastor telling you to vote, get your voter's card, tell him, Pastor, I don't want to vote. If it is your man, tell him your vote never counted. And if you're a ODUDUWA freedom fighter, remain resolute. If you're a biafran freedom fighter, remain resolute. Do not let your tyrannic sense of reasoning destroy your resoluteness or the hard work you have put in. And do not let your ego as well destroy the good work you're doing. And do not bring every issue concerning our struggle on social media, because we've got a lot of enemies. This is time for unity amongst ODUDUWANs and the Biafrans. This is time that we must have to have another coalition, cooperation between us. Alliance, we need to form alliance together to fight those that kill us, to fight those that terminate us, to fight those that find joy in dominating, because we know those that are our problem in that country. You can live in America, you say it doesn't concern me. Tell yourself the truth. America is not your home, and they can never see you as an American. If you're living in UK, even though you've got British citizenship, they will still refer you to as a Nigerian British citizen, not a British, no. And that is to remind you that you have got a home. That is to remind you that you have a place where you're coming from. That is to remind you that if you don't build your home, nobody can build it for you. That is to remind you that you're a human being, that you have to reason. And if we don't unite hands with the ODUDUWA and the Biafrans and other ethnic nationalities, because most of these that they call minority or minor ethnic nationalities, or so to say, they deceive them that Igbos are conquest by nature, that when Igbo comes to you, they will try to dominate you. But at the end of the day, when you happens to mingle with the same people who tells you this story, they are the number one dominants. They are the greatest imperialists. But when you live with an Igbo man, of course you live with them freely. But you have the same hatred for them. But we need unity. And with unity, we can achieve common goal. Because if the other ones doesn't rise up, if the Biafran doesn't rise up, if every people continues to wait till it gets to my doorstep, I fear what will be 2023 that most of you are waiting for, the presidential election. We are gone. We'll be destroyed. Sometimes you can sit in your house and you see shellings. Because, don't get me wrong, if Fulani herdsmen can go to the farm and then massacre people who owns the farm, why do they massacre these people? They massacre them because they sent their cattle to feed from their crops. And now these people came about asking, why did you send your cattle to my crops? You said, how dare you talk to me? Wallahi, wallahi, you kill the person. After wallahi, wallahi, you kill the person, right? Now, we happens to arrest the herdsman with an AK-47 if you can, then you hand him over to police. The same police will release him and arrest the security man who handed the herdsman over to him. Do you imagine in the next 3 years how could that escalate? Because somebody, Walter Rodriguez said, the fundamental root of crime is joblessness. When the people has no job, they start thinking of what to do, how to get their daily livings. And from there, you see people begin to involve into different types of crime. And when crime stays in the country and nobody challenges it, it becomes a norm. It continues to expand. Then you have different outlawed groups. And that's why I ask you, if the herdsmen can go to people's farm today, butcher the people, and no prosecution, no one goes to jail, and you have no right to deal with them, how do you think in 2 years after they have expanded to their full satisfaction, how do you think we can live? I'm asking this question to the Yorubas, to the ODUDUWAs, to the Benin, to the Asian, to all ethnic nationality in Nigeria, to the Benue, to the Gbagi, to the Nupe people, all of the people, even the Hausas. How do you think our next generation can live? Our next generation could live in a state whereby they would be dictated where to stop in their own land. And it's a crime before God and before man. And that we must have to challenge. And for us to challenge it, we must unite together. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is coming out soon, sooner than they might imagine, because he has committed absolutely no crime. And the more they hold him, the more destruction befall upon them all. Because self-determination is a fundamental human right. And nobody has the right to decide for you where you want to belong. Nobody has the right to decide to you which people you should associate with. Nobody has the right to decide for you which nationality you are. That is your right. It's your right. France, since 1990 till date, France has organized 4 times referendum for the people of New Caledonia. Why is the case different in Africa? Why do we continue to live and let the world laugh at us? Do not let anybody deceive you. 2023 is for BVC. Let 2023 be used for referendum for the people to decide where they want to belong. And the unity, because we know they can't give us the referendum. So what we have to approach is revolution. Simple as that. We take what belongs to us. Can you imagine? During this period of time that Russia is have problem, condolences to those that lost their life, though we lose every day in Biafran and in other parts as well, but nobody reports it, but condolences to them, because we are human beings. And we understand how painful it is to lose a loved one. But can you imagine that at this very point in time that there is fuel scarcity because of less supply of fuel from Russia, Nigeria is still shorting of fuel. Are you not ashamed? A country of over 200 million people are ruled by dead men, and we see nothing wrong with it. People will still tell you to get your voter's card. Go and vote. Are you even insane? Don't we even reason? Don't we even know that mentioning the name of Nigeria gets you bad luck? Tell yourself the truth, especially those living abroad. Ask yourself the truth, or tell yourself the humble truth. On that note, I'm bringing an end to this very program. And congrats once more to ODUDUWA brethrem. And I ask them as well to join us hands and ensure the liberation and the freedom of our leader. And through the unity, we can achieve our common goal, which is freedom for every trapped person in that very evil forest. And I ask Biafrans to remain resolute. Stop being distracted or divided. Look at what the ODUDUWAs do. What they did is a challenge to all of us. And we must have to emulate from it. And then become that which we want to be. And then we can free our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, who has committed no crime, whose only crime is seeking justice for his people, seeking equity and fairness. Unity amongst both of us can bring us our freedom. Do not let them bring their political aspirations on your way to divide us. I'm saying this to the ODUDUWA brethren. Do not let them bring their political aspirations to cause division into us. Because I know you all are agitating for freedom. And likewise are we biafrans too. And the only way we can achieve that freedom is by uniting together and marching in revolution. And that revolution is fast approaching. If you can see the handwork on the wall, the handwriting on the wall, excuse me. And on Biafran media comrades, I ask you to desist yourself from gossips. Focus more on the exposition of the evil that they are planning against our people. Focus more and let the lawyers do their work. I ask those who are challenging the system of our legal means to desist because there is division of labor. Support them and let them do their jobs. And at the end, you will see what God will use them to do. You will see our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being released just sooner than many might imagine. And on that note, I say to you, have a wonderful evening from here. Good night to all of you.